Kim's lawyer quickly stood up from her seat and told Kim she had made a mistake. She was supposed to plead not guilty instead of guilty. Kim looked at her and stated that she had not made any mistake. The lawyer, taken by surprise, reminded her that they had agreed she would plead not guilty. Kim affirmed that they had agreed she was going to plead not guilty. The judge, interrupting them, asked if there was a problem. The lawyer stepped forward and informed the judge that her client had made a mistake and meant to plead not guilty, but had pleaded guilty by accident. The judge, staring at Kim, told her she would ask again for the last time and expected her to state clearly what her plea was. Kim agreed. The judge, still keeping her eyes on her, asked again for the plea. Kim stood firm on her decision and stated that she indeed pleaded guilty to the charges. The lawyer, feeling defeated, looked at her and told her she was making the worst mistake of her life. The judge stated that since the defendant had pleaded guilty, it made her work easier, and that she would proceed with the sentencing. Before she could continue, Kim requested to say something before the sentence was delivered. The judge agreed and gave her the podium. Kim explained that the reason she was pleading guilty was that she no longer wanted to run from her mistakes and crimes. She acknowledged that she had wronged many innocent people and that continuing to resist the truth and fight for false justice would not do her any favors. She added that being in jail had made her reflect on many things in her life and that she regretted the path she had taken. She glanced at Minsu and said that she had people around her who truly loved and appreciated her without conditions, yet she had hurt them and driven them away through her own actions. Looking at Woobin, she stated that a good friend, whom she hoped would remain a friend, once told her that sometimes people direct their trauma and pain toward the wrong individuals who do not deserve it. She admitted that it was too late to apologize or turn things around, and that the only justice she could receive was the punishment the judge would give her. She looked at her father, who was sitting in shock, and said that all she had ever wanted was to be loved by him. If he had shown her even a bit of affection and guidance, things might have turned out differently. She added that regardless of everything, she still loved him and would still choose him as her father in another life. She looked back at the judge and thanked her for allowing her to speak, stating that she was ready for her sentence. The judge looked at her for a moment, wrote something down in her file, and addressed Kim again. She stated that the defendant had attempted murder in front of everyone and that the possession of a firearm showed the act had been premeditated. She noted that the motive was clear. Kim believed she should have been the one getting married. The judge acknowledged that Kim had shown remorse, although it could not be determined if it was genuine. She also observed that Kim had experienced trauma and lacked support growing up, which may have contributed to her current mental state. Staring into Kim's eyes, the judge sentenced her to 15 years in prison, with eligibility for parole after 5 years. She then dismissed the court and exited. As Kim was being escorted out, her father ran to her, asking what she had done. He promised to do what he could to get her out. Kim told him it was okay, and that she deserved to be punished. She spotted Woobin, who was standing silently. She nodded at him in gratitude, and Woobin smiled in return as she was placed into the police vehicle that then drove off.